The cold metal walls of the alien ship hummed with power. Dr. Vera Lane sat in chains in the dark prison cell. Her hands were bloody from trying to escape. 6 months had passed since the last human world fell. 6 months since her people died. Admiral Kexthar walked into the room. His blue skin looked almost black in the dim light. His forearms moved as he spoke. The alien was tall, much taller than any human. His yellow eyes looked at Vera with hate. "Tell me about your military bases," he said. His voice sounded like grinding metal. "Where did your people hide their ships?" Vera looked up at him. Her face was thin from not eating enough. "I already told you. They are all gone. You destroyed everything." Kexthar hit the wall with his fist. The metal bent under his strength. "Lies! We know some of your soldiers escaped. Our sensors found ship trails leaving your last world." "Maybe some people got away," Vera said quietly. "But they cannot fight you now. You have 1,000 ships. We have nothing left." The alien admiral walked around her chair. His footsteps were heavy on the metal floor. "One of your people interests me. A soldier named Jake Morgan. Your people spoke his name before they died." Vera tried to keep her face blank. She knew Jake. He was a special forces captain. Strong, smart, and very dangerous. If anyone could survive, it would be him. "I do not know this person," she lied. Kexthar laughed. The sound was ugly. "Your face tells me you lie. This Morgan was in the last battle. He had a stealth ship. Our records show his craft left the battle area. Then why do you not find him?" Vera asked. "We will," the alien said. "We are hunting him now. When we catch him, he will die like the rest of your kind." Kexthar left the room. Vera heard his voice in the hallway talking to other aliens. They were planning something. She closed her eyes and hoped Jake was far away. On the bridge of the alien ship, Kexthar looked at his officers. The ship was huge, bigger than any human vessel ever built. Screens showed the dead human world below them. "Nothing moved on its surface, sir," one officer said. "Long-range sensors found something. A small ship in the asteroid field. It matches human design." Kexthar smiled, showing sharp teeth. "Send our hunter ships. 6 of them. That should be enough for one human." The hunter ships were fast and deadly. They moved through space like metal sharks. Their weapons could destroy a human ship in seconds. Kexthar watched on the main screen as they flew toward the asteroids. "The human ship is running," an officer reported. "It is damaged." "Engines are weak." "Good," Kexthar said. "Chase it down. I want the pilot alive." The hunt lasted 3 hours. The human ship moved slowly through the asteroid field. Sometimes it hid behind big rocks. The alien ships followed its heat trail. They were getting closer. "The human ship has stopped," the weapons officer said. "It is near the big nebula." "Surround it," Kexthar ordered. "Do not let it escape." The alien ships moved into position. They had the human ship trapped. There was nowhere to run. The nebula was too dangerous to enter. "Open fire on the engines," Kexthar said. "Disable it." Green energy beams shot from the alien guns. They hit the human ship. It exploded in bright light. Pieces of metal flew in all directions. "Sir," the sensor officer said. His voice was confused. "The explosion is wrong. That ship was empty." "What do you mean empty?" "No life signs. It was just metal and computers." "A fake ship." Kexthar felt cold fear in his chest. "A trap?" Suddenly, all the ship computers made noise at once. Warning lights flashed red. A human voice came through the speakers. It was calm and clear. "You hunted my people like animals," the voice said. "You killed children and families. You burned our worlds." The main screen flickered. A human face appeared. It was a man with short brown hair and green eyes. His face had scars and dried blood. But he was smiling. It was not a nice smile. "You made one mistake," the human said. "You left one of us alive." The screen went black. Then it came back on. The human was still there, still smiling that cold smile. "My name is Jake Morgan." "You want to hunt humans?" "Good. Now I'm going to hunt you." The alien officers looked at each other with fear. How did a human get into their ship computers? Their systems were supposed to be safe. "You think your ships make you strong?" Morgan continued. "You think your numbers make you safe. You are wrong. I am coming for all of you, one by one." Kexthar tried to speak, but no words came out. Morgan leaned closer to the camera. His smile got bigger. "I hope you can run fast." The screen went dead. Emergency alarms started ringing throughout the ship. Systems began to fail. Lights went out in some areas. The ship shook as engines sputtered. Damage report, Kexthar shouted. Systems are failing everywhere, an officer said with panic in his voice. Life support, weapons, navigation. Everything is breaking down. Kexthar looked at the dead screen where Morgan's face had been. The human was still alive, still fighting, and now he was hunting them. For the first time since the war began, Admiral Kexthar was afraid. They had awakened something terrible, something that would not stop until they paid for what they had done. The hunt was about to begin, but now the humans were the hunters. 3 days had passed since Jake Morgan first spoke to the alien fleet. Admiral Kexthar had not slept well. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw that human smile, cold and full of promise. The problem started small. A navigation computer would stop working for a few minutes. A food machine would make the wrong meal. Lights would flicker in empty hallways. The alien crew began to whisper about ghosts in the machines. Report, Kexthar said as he walked onto the bridge. His officers looked tired and scared. Sir, we have lost contact with 3 ships, the communications officer said. The cargo ships Red Dawn, Metal Fist, and Dark Space. They stopped responding 6 hours ago. Send scout ships to check on them. We already did, sir. The scouts found the ships floating in space. All crew members were dead. No damage to the ships. They just died. Kexthar felt his stomach turn. How did they die? The air systems failed. All at the same time. The humans must have poisoned the air somehow. That is impossible. Our computer systems are secure. No human can break into them. But even as he said it, Kexthar knew he was wrong. Somehow Morgan was inside their networks, like a ghost that could walk through walls. Far away in the wreckage of an old human space station, 2 people worked in the dark. Jake Morgan sat at a computer screen. His fingers moved fast over the keyboard. Next to him, a woman with red hair watched numbers scroll across another screen. Nina, how many ships can you reach? Jake asked. Nina Ross looked at her data. She was thin and pale from months of hiding, but her eyes were bright with intelligence. I can get into about 60% of their fleet. Maybe more if I have time. What about their main command ship? That one is harder. Too many security layers. But I can make the smaller ships very unhappy. Jake smiled. It was the same cold smile he had shown the aliens. Good. Let them think about fear for a while. Nina typed commands into her computer. Far away, alien ships began to have more problems. Food systems started making poison instead of meals. Gravity machines turned on and off without warning. Bathroom facilities overflowed with waste. The aliens are starting to panic, Nina said. I can see their emergency messages. They think their own technology is turning against them. In a way it is, Jake said. We built some of these systems for them during the peace talks before the war. Your backdoor programs are still there. Nina had been a computer expert for the human military. When the aliens first came to Earth, humans tried to make friends. They shared technology and knowledge. Nina had hidden secret programs in the computers they gave to the aliens. Programs that could be activated later. I wish we had used these programs during the war, Nina said sadly. Our leaders wanted to fight with honor, Jake replied. They thought the aliens would do the same. They were wrong. Jake remembered the last battle. He was trying to evacuate civilians when alien ships attacked the refugee center. Children and families died in the explosions. There was no honor in that. No mercy. Are you ready for the next step? Jake asked. Nina nodded. The supply depot at Zeta 7, I can get you inside. Jake put on stolen alien clothes. They were too big for his human body, but they would work from a distance. He checked his weapons. A small knife and a stun gun. Nothing fancy. He did not need much. The supply depot was a space station that fed fuel and food to alien ships. Hundreds of aliens worked there. They thought they were safe so far from any fighting. Jake flew his small ship to the depot. It looked like a damaged alien craft asking for help. The aliens let him dock without question. They were used to helping their own ships. Jake walked through the station corridors. The aliens paid no attention to him. He was just another worker in alien clothes. He found the main computer center and went inside. Can I help you? An alien worker asked. This one had green skin and too many eyes. Computer repair, Jake said in broken alien language. Virus problems on level 5. The alien worker looked confused but let Jake pass. Jake plugged a small device into the main computer. It took only 30 seconds. All fixed, Jake said and walked away. The device Nina had made was very small but very smart. It copied all the information in the alien computers. Ship locations, crew numbers, weapon types, supply schedules. Everything the aliens knew about their own fleet. But more than that, it planted viruses throughout their network. These viruses would wait and then strike when Jake needed them to. Jake was leaving the station when alarms started ringing. Someone had found the device. Security guards ran through the hallways looking for intruders. Human, one guard shouted when he saw Jake. Stop, Jake ran. He was faster than the heavy aliens, but they knew the station better. They tried to trap him in the corridors. Jake used his knife to cut through a wall panel and crawled into the air system. The aliens followed him, but the air ducts were too small for their big bodies. Jake reached his ship and took off just as alien security ships arrived. You are surrounded, came a voice over the radio. Surrender now. Jake pressed a button on his control panel. Back on the station, every computer screen showed the same message. You wanted to hunt humans? Let me show you what we learned from being prey. Then all the computers stopped working. The station lost power. Life support failed. The alien ships had to rush back to save their own people instead of chasing Jake. Jake flew away into the darkness of space. Behind him, the aliens were learning what it felt like to be helpless. On the alien command ship, Admiral Kexthar received the bad news. The supply depot was damaged. All their computer networks were infected with human viruses. Worse, their enemy now knew everything about their fleet. How many ships do we have? Kexthar asked. 412, sir, an officer replied. And how many humans are we fighting? The officer was quiet for a long moment. We think just 2, sir. The male Morgan and a female computer expert. Kexthar stared at the star map on his screen. 2 humans were making his entire fleet afraid. 2 humans who should have died with the rest of their people. Sir, the communications officer said, we are getting a message from the human. Jake Morgan's face appeared on the screen again. This time he was not smiling. His green eyes looked tired but determined. You killed my friends, Jake said quietly. You killed my family. You killed my world. You thought that would be the end of it. Jake held up a small computer device. This has all your fleet information. Where your ships are. How many crew they have. What weapons they carry. I know everything about you now. He put the device down and looked directly at the camera. You wanted to be hunters. But hunters need to understand something. Sometimes the prey learns to hunt back. The screen went black. A moment later, every computer on every alien ship in the fleet started showing the same message over and over. The hunt begins now. Admiral Kexthar realized with growing fear that they were no longer the predators. They had become the prey. Captain Zorik was having a bad day. His patrol ship, the Night Hunter, was supposed to be checking empty space near the dead human worlds. It should have been easy work, boring work, safe work. Instead, his crew was dead. Zorik hid in a storage room trying not to make noise. Outside in the hallway, he could hear footsteps. Slow, careful footsteps. Human footsteps. It had started 2 hours ago. The ship's computers went crazy first. Lights turned off and on. Doors opened and closed by themselves. The air got very cold, then very hot. His crew thought it was just more computer problems like the other ships were having. Then the human came aboard. Zorik did not see how he got on the ship. One moment they were alone in space. The next moment crew members started dying. Not from weapons. Not from explosions. They just disappeared one by one. The first to go was Engineer Plex. He went to fix a broken air filter and never came back. They found his body stuffed inside the air system. His neck was broken. Then Security Chief Core vanished from the bridge. They found him in the weapons storage room. He looked like he had been scared to death. His eyes were wide open, staring at nothing. One by one, the crew died. Each death was different. Each death was quiet. Each death sent a message. The human was coming for all of them. Now Zorik was alone with the killer. He tried to call for help, but the communications were dead. He tried to run the ship, but the controls would not work. The human had taken everything away from him except fear. The footsteps stopped outside his door. I know you are in there, a calm voice said. It was the human. He spoke alien language well, but with a strange accent. Come out. We need to talk. Zorik pressed himself against the wall. Maybe if he was very quiet, the human would go away. Your name is Captain Zorik, the voice continued. You were at the Battle of New Montana. Your ship killed a human refugee transport. 300 families died because of you. Zorik remembered that day. It was just following orders. The humans were trying to evacuate their people. The alien command said to stop them. So they did, please, Zorak whispered. I was just following orders. So were the humans you killed, the voice replied. They were just trying to protect their children. The door to the storage room opened. Jake Morgan stood there, wearing a stolen alien uniform. He looked tired and dirty. His green eyes were cold like winter ice. You are going to help me, Jake said. I will not help you kill my people, Zorak said, trying to sound brave. Jake sat down across from him. I am not going to kill you. You are going to live. You are going to go back to your fleet and tell them what happened here. Why? Because fear is a weapon too. Your friends need to know what is coming for them. Jake pulled out a small device. This is a recorder. You are going to tell your fleet exactly how your crew died. You are going to tell them that one human did this. One human who learned how to hunt from watching your people kill his. Zorak stared at the device. They will not believe me. They will believe you because you will be the only survivor. Just like I was the only survivor of New Montana. Jake started the recorder. Tell them about Engineer Plex. Tell them how I broke his neck with my bare hands. Tell them about Security Chief Core. Tell them how I made him watch recordings of human children dying until his heart stopped from fear. Zorak began to speak into the recorder. His voice shook as he described each death. Jake listened without emotion like he was hearing a weather report. When the recording was finished, Jake stood up. Your escape pod is ready. You can leave now. What about my ship? Your ship stays here. I need the weapons and supplies. Zorak walked toward the escape pod. At the door, he turned back. Why are you doing this? Your people are dead. This will not bring them back. Jake looked at him for a long moment. You are right. This will not bring them back. But it will make sure no one else has to die the way they did. You are just one human. We have hundreds of ships. Jake smiled that cold smile again. Yes, but I am a human who has nothing left to lose. That makes me the most dangerous thing in this galaxy. Zorak got into the escape pod and flew away. Behind him, the Night Hunter drifted in space like a ghost ship. Jake was already planning his next hunt. 3 days later, Admiral Kexthar watched the recording that Zorak had made. His officers stood around him in silence. The humans' methods were becoming more creative, more frightening. Sir, the intelligence officer said, we have lost contact with 6 more ships. All of them were alone when they disappeared. He is picking off our isolated vessels, Kexthar realized, like a hunter taking weak animals from the edge of the herd. What are your orders, sir? Kexthar thought for a moment. No more single ships. Everyone travels in groups of at least 3. Constant communication. If any ship goes silent, the others investigate immediately. But Jake was already adapting to their new tactics. He had learned something important from the aliens, how their technology worked. Human weapons were designed to kill humans. Alien weapons were designed to kill aliens, but now Jake was building hybrid weapons. Human creativity mixed with alien power. In his hidden base inside the wreckage of the human colony ship New Frontier, Jake worked with Nina to prepare new surprises. They had collected alien weapons, alien computers, alien medical equipment, everything they needed to hurt their enemies. The aliens think in patterns, Jake explained to Nina as they worked. They do everything the same way every time. That makes them predictable. What is the next target? Nina asked. Jake pointed to a star map. Supply convoy heading to their main base. 3 ships heavily guarded. They think numbers will protect them. That is a lot of aliens, Jake, maybe too many. Jake checked his new weapons. They were alien energy guns modified with human targeting systems, much more accurate than the original design. Nina, how many humans died on New Montana? 50,000, she said quietly. And how many aliens were in the ships that killed them? Maybe 3,000. So each alien ship had to kill more than 15 humans to finish the job. That means each human was worth more than 15 aliens in fighting ability. Nina understood. You are not trying to match their numbers. You are trying to be worth more than they expect. Exactly. They think like a herd. I think like a predator. The supply convoy never reached its destination. The aliens found the 3 ships drifting in space a week later. All crew members were dead. The cargo was gone. And on every ship's main screen was the same message. One human did this. Think about that. Admiral Kexthar was starting to understand something terrible. The human was not just seeking revenge. He was learning their tactics, their technology, their weaknesses. Every attack made him stronger and smarter. Sir, the communications officer said with fear in his voice, We are receiving a transmission from the human. Jake Morgan appeared on screen. This time he was sitting in what looked like an alien captain's chair. Behind him were weapons and computers that the aliens recognized. Their own equipment stolen and modified. You thought you killed all the humans, Jake said calmly. You were wrong. You thought you destroyed our spirit. You were wrong. You thought you could sleep safely after genocide. Jake leaned forward, his green eyes burning with cold fire. You were very, very wrong. Every ship you lose makes me stronger. Every crew that dies teaches me more about how to hurt you. You created the perfect weapon against yourselves. The transmission ended, but the message was clear. The hunt was just beginning, and the humans had learned to be very good at it. Supreme Commander Thekval was not used to being afraid. He was the leader of the greatest military force in the galaxy. His ships had conquered dozens of worlds. His armies had never known defeat. But now he was afraid of one human. Show me the damage reports, he ordered as he entered the main command center of his flagship, Eternal Victory. The ship was massive, bigger than a human city. It carried 50,000 crew members and enough weapons to destroy planets. Sir, his aide reported, we have lost 37 ships in the past month, all to the same human. Our fleet strength is down by almost 10%. How many humans are we fighting? Thekval asked, even though he knew the answer would make him angry. Intelligence believes it is still just 2, sir. The male soldier and the female computer expert. Thekval hit his desk with all 4 of his arms. The metal cracked under the force. 2 humans, 2! And they are destroying my fleet. On the screens around the command center, star maps showed the locations of recent attacks. The human was moving through alien space like a ghost, striking and disappearing before help could arrive. Sir, the intelligence officer said carefully, we have new information. Our scouts found the human's base. Thekval turned quickly. Where? Inside the wreckage of a human colony ship near the gas giant Zarian 4. The ship is called New Frontier. We thought we destroyed it completely during the war. Apparently not completely enough. Prepare the fleet for attack. Sir, there is something else. Our long-range sensors detected unusual energy readings from the wreckage. The human appears to be building something large. Deep inside the broken hull of the New Frontier, Jake Morgan put the finishing touches on his greatest project. It had taken months of work, using salvaged parts from dozens of alien ships, but it was finally ready. The Titan protocol is online, Nina announced from her computer station. All systems are green. Jake looked at the ship they had built. It was not as big as the alien dreadnoughts, but it was something new. Human engineering combined with alien technology. Speed and intelligence combined with raw power. What are you going to call it? Nina asked. Last Light, Jake said, because it might be the last chance humanity has to shine. The ship was beautiful and terrible. Its hull was black metal that seemed to absorb light. Its weapons were hybrid designs that no alien had ever seen. Its computers ran on human artificial intelligence programs that thought faster than any alien mind. Jake, Nina said quietly, the alien fleet is coming. Hundreds of ships. Maybe we should run. Jake shook his head. Running time is over. Nina. Time to show them what humans can really do when they stop playing by alien rules. He climbed into the pilot's seat of the Last Light. The ship responded to his thoughts as much as his hands. Human brainwaves connected directly to the computer systems. It was like flying with his mind. Nina, send our message to every human facility that might still be listening. Tell them to activate Protocol 7. Jake, most of those facilities were destroyed. Some might have survived. Some might still be listening. It is time to wake up everything our people left behind. The alien fleet arrived at Zarion 4 like a storm cloud. 300 ships of different sizes and types. Admiral Kexthar was there with his hunters. General Vekmore brought his assault ships, and Supreme Commander Thekval commanded from his massive flagship. Surround the gas giant, Thekval ordered. Do not let the human escape this time. But Jake had no intention of running. The Last Light emerged from the wreckage like a metal dragon. It was smaller than the alien ships, but it moved like lightning. Human reflexes and alien engines made it almost impossible to target. All ships open fire, Thekval commanded. Energy beams filled space with deadly light. But the Last Light danced between them, too fast and too smart to be caught. Jake's hybrid weapons fired back, each shot perfectly aimed. Alien ships exploded like fireworks. Impossible, Admiral Kexthar whispered as he watched his hunters die. How can one ship fight so many? The answer was simple. Human pilots thought differently than alien pilots. Aliens fought in formations, following patterns and rules. Jake fought like chaos itself, unpredictable and creative. But numbers were still numbers. Even Jake could not fight 300 ships alone. The last light took damage. Its shields flickered. Its engines began to smoke. "Human ship," came Supreme Commander Thekval's voice over the radio. "Surrender now. You have fought well, but this is over." Jake's response was to play a recording. It was the voice of a human commander named Frank Hayes, who had died defending the outer colonies. "To any human who hears this," the recording said, "remember that courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is doing what is right even when you are afraid. Fight for those who cannot fight. Protect those who cannot protect themselves. Never give up. Never surrender. Humanity will survive." Other voices joined the recording. Human commanders and soldiers who had died in the war. Their last words and final orders. Messages of hope and defiance from people who knew they were going to die. The effect on the alien fleet was immediate. Some species in the coalition had joined the war because they were afraid. Others joined because they thought humans were evil. But these recordings showed something different. They showed humans who died protecting their families and friends. "Sir," reported an officer on Thekval's ship, "some of our allied ships are breaking formation. The Kentari and Vorthan vessels are requesting permission to withdraw." "Denied!" Thekval shouted. "All ships continue the attack." But doubt was spreading through the alien fleet like a virus. They had been told that humans were monsters who needed to be destroyed. But the voices in the recording sounded like parents and teachers and protectors. Jake saw the confusion in the alien formations. Some ships were slowing down. Others were moving away from the battle. It was time for his final card. "Nina," he said into his communicator, "activate the sleeping giants." Across alien space, automated systems that had been dormant for months suddenly came to life. Human space stations that the aliens thought they had captured revealed hidden weapon systems. Alien ships found that their own computers were turning against them. Mining facilities became missile bases. Communications relays became spy networks. The aliens realized with growing horror that humans had planned for their own defeat. Even in death, human engineers and programmers were still fighting. "How is this possible?" Thekval demanded. "Sir," his science officer replied, "it appears the humans planted hidden systems throughout their technology. When they shared science with us during the peace talks, they included backdoor programs. Everything we took from them has been a trap waiting to spring." The last light was badly damaged, but Jake was not finished. He flew straight at Thekval's flagship, dodging massive weapons that could have destroyed planets. "What is he doing?" Kexthar asked. "He cannot win against the eternal victory." But Jake was not trying to win. He was trying to deliver a message. The last light flew close to the flagship's hull and projected a hologram. It showed Jake's face, bloody but smiling. "You wanted to kill all humans," Jake said. "You succeeded mostly. But you made one mistake. You taught us that mercy is weakness. You taught us that honor is foolishness. You taught us to fight like you." The last light began to glow with dangerous energy. Jake was overloading his ship's power core. "You turned us into weapons," Jake continued. "Now live with what you created." The last light exploded like a new star. The light was so bright that it damaged sensors on every alien ship. When their vision cleared, they expected to see nothing but wreckage. Instead, they saw something impossible. The explosion had not destroyed the human ship. It had scattered it into 1,000 pieces, but each piece was broadcasting the same signal. Jake's voice continued to speak from everywhere at once. "You think this was about one ship? One human? You understand nothing. This was about showing you what we are capable of, what we've always been capable of." Supreme Commander Thekval stared at the scattered remains of the last light. Each piece still glowed with energy. Each piece still transmitted defiance. "Sir," his communications officer said with a shaking voice, "we are receiving signals from across the galaxy. Human systems are activating everywhere. They are all broadcasting the same message." On every screen in the alien fleet, Jake Morgan's face appeared one more time. But now it was not alone. Behind him were dozens of other humans, men and women of all ages. They had been hiding in the shadows, waiting for this moment. "You thought you were hunting one human," Jake said. "You were wrong. You were being hunted by all of us." The humans smiled together. It was not a cruel smile this time. It was the smile of people who had just won a very long game. Now, Jake said. "Let us talk about surrender." The silence that followed Jake's words lasted for exactly 37 seconds. Supreme Commander Thekval counted each one as his universe changed forever. "This is impossible," he whispered, staring at the screen where dozens of human faces looked back at him. "We killed them all. We watched their worlds burn." Jake Morgan sat in the center of the group. His face was calm now, no longer showing the cold anger that had terrified the aliens for months. Next to him, Nina Ross worked at a computer that displayed information about every alien ship in the fleet. "You killed many of us," Jake agreed. "But humans are very good at hiding, very good at surviving, and very, very good at planning ahead." Behind the Supreme Commander, his officers whispered in fear. How many humans were still alive? How long had they been planning this moment? "You see," Jake continued, "my people learned something important during our first contact with alien species. We learned that not everyone in the galaxy thinks the way we do. Some species solve problems with violence first, so we prepared for that possibility." On screens throughout the alien fleet, new displays appeared. They showed technical diagrams of every alien ship design, weapon specifications, shield frequencies, life support systems, everything. "We studied your technology while we were sharing ours," Nina explained, speaking for the first time. "Every piece of equipment you bought from us, every computer system you copied, every alliance you made, we were watching. We were learning." Admiral Kexthar found his voice. "The war lasted 20 years. You fought us the entire time." "We fought your military," Jake corrected, "but we never stopped thinking like humans. We never stopped planning for the long term. Even when we were losing, we were preparing for this day." The truth was more complex than the aliens could have imagined. During the early years of the war, when defeat seemed certain, human leaders had created a secret plan. They called it the Phoenix Protocol. If humanity was destroyed, it would rise from the ashes stronger than before. Hidden bases were built in abandoned star systems. Automated factories were programmed to activate years after the war ended. Computer viruses were planted in alien networks waiting for the right signal. And a small group of humans was trained to survive in hiding no matter what happened. Jake had been one of those humans. So had Nina. They were not the only survivors of the final battle. They were the leaders of a network that had been planned from the beginning. "How many of you are there?" Thekval asked. "Enough," Jake replied. "We are scattered across the galaxy. Some are in hiding on alien worlds. Some are on space stations you think you control. Some are in places you have never thought to look." "Show them Station 7, Nina said quietly. The main screen changed to show a massive space facility. It looked like an asteroid mining station, the kind that existed in thousands of star systems. But as the camera moved closer, the aliens could see the truth. It was covered with weapon systems and filled with human technology. "This station has been operating for 3 years, Jake explained. "Right in the middle of your territory. Your ships stop here for fuel and supplies. You never suspected that humans were running it." More screens activated, showing similar facilities. A repair depot that had been secretly gathering intelligence. A trading post that had been building weapons. A communications relay that had been watching alien fleet movements. "We have been preparing for this moment since the day our first world fell," Jake said. "Every defeat taught us something new. Every loss made us smarter. Every death made us more determined." Supreme Commander Thekval felt something he had never experienced before. Helplessness. His fleet was surrounded by enemies they could not see, outnumbered by an enemy they thought they had destroyed. "What do you want?" he asked finally. Jake stood up from his chair. Around him, the other humans also stood. They looked tired but determined. They looked like people who had carried a heavy burden for a long time and were finally ready to put it down. "We want you to remember this day," Jake said. "We want you to remember that humans do not start wars, but we finish them. We want you to remember that genocide has consequences. You could have destroyed us," Admiral Kexthar realized. "All this time you could have killed us all." "Yes," Jake agreed. "We could have done to you what you did to us. We could have burned your worlds and killed your families. We could have hunted you like animals until none of you were left." Nina activated another screen. This one showed alien worlds, peaceful and beautiful. Cities full of alien families. Schools where alien children learned and played. "But we chose not to," Jake continued, "because that is what makes us different from you. We do not kill innocents. We do not destroy entire species. We fight soldiers, not children." The aliens stared at the images of their own worlds. their own families unharmed and safe. They realized that the humans could have destroyed everything they cared about but had chosen mercy instead. "This is your one chance," Jake said, his voice becoming hard again. "You will recall all your military forces to your own territory. You will pay reparations to rebuild the human worlds you destroyed. You will release any prisoners you still hold. And you will never ever threaten another species with extinction again." "And if we refuse?" Thekvel asked. Jake smiled. But this time it was not cold or cruel. It was sad, like someone who had hoped for a better answer. "If you refuse, then we will show you what humans are really capable of when we stop holding back. We will show you why every species in the galaxy should be grateful that humans prefer peace to war." The screens around the alien fleet flickered and changed. Now they showed weapon systems that the aliens had never seen before. Ships that moved faster than anything they thought possible. Technologies that seemed to bend the laws of physics. "We held back during the war," Nina explained. "We fought with honor, using weapons and tactics we thought you would understand. We tried to show you that we were civilized. We were wrong to do that. You see," Jake added, "humans are not naturally violent. But when something threatens our families, our children, our future, we become something else entirely. We become unstoppable." Supreme Commander Thekvel looked around at his officers. He saw fear in their eyes. Fear of what the humans might do if pushed too far. "I accept your terms," he said quietly. Jake nodded. "Good. You have 30 days to begin the withdrawal. Our people will be watching to make sure you keep your word." "What about you?" Kexthar asked. "What will you do now?" Jake looked around at his fellow humans. They had spent years planning for this moment, but none of them had thought much about what would come after. "We rebuild," he said finally. "We go back to the work we should have been doing all along. We explore new worlds. We learn new things. We try to make the galaxy a better place for everyone." "And if someone threatens us again?" Nina asked. Jake's expression became serious. "Then we remind them of this day. We remind them that humans are capable of great kindness and terrible vengeance. We hope they are smart enough to choose which one they want to see." The alien fleet began to turn away, heading back toward their own territory. On every ship, crew members talked quietly about what they had learned. About the humans who had shown mercy when they could have chosen revenge. Jake Morgan sat back down in his chair. Around him, the other human survivors began the long work of rebuilding their civilization. They had won not through violence but through planning, patience, and the wisdom to know when to fight and when to forgive. In the depths of space, Dr. Vera Lane sat in her prison cell and smiled. She had heard Jake's broadcast on the alien ship's communication system. Her people were not extinct. They were just beginning. The hunt was over. But for humanity, the real work was just starting. As the years passed, the galaxy would remember this day as the moment when a species thought to be destroyed showed the universe what it truly meant to be human. Not through conquest or cruelty, but through the courage to survive, the wisdom to plan, and the strength to choose mercy over revenge. And in the deepest archives of every species, military leaders would study the human war and learn its most important lesson. Never hunt something that is smarter than you are. Because eventually it might decide to hunt you back. The humans had returned, and the galaxy was a safer place because of it.